Did you know that from a fresh eggplant in the garden to a frozen eggplant bag in your kitchen cabinet, it only takes 6 hours? China, the country producing over 60% of the world's frozen eggplant, has turned this process into high-tech art. Today, we will step into the most modern processing factory and witness the magical journey from fresh eggplant to perfect frozen product, ready to be exported across 5 continents. Every day, hundreds of tons of fresh eggplants from farms are transported to the factory in refrigerated trucks at 50 degrees Fahrenheit. As soon as the eggplants arrive at the factory, the countdown clock begins. There are only 6 hours to convert from fresh eggplant to frozen product. The first stage is receiving and sorting. Eggplants are dumped onto an inspection conveyor belt, where an AI camera system scans each fruit to remove crushed, overripe, or scratched eggplants. Only grade A standard eggplants deep purple color, uniform size 6 to 8 inches, without defects, are transferred to the next stage. QC workers take random samples checking hardness, freshness using a penetrometer. Eggplants must reach a hardness of 8 to 12 pounds force to ensure the best post-freezing quality. Washing and sanitizing is the first important step eggplants pass through a 4-stage automatic washing system. Stage 1. Soaking in a cold water tank at 40 degrees Fahrenheit to remove dirt and surface impurities. Stage 2. High-pressure spray washing at 60 pounds per square inch with 360-degree rotating nozzles. Stage 3. Soaking in a chlorine solution of 50 to 100 parts per million for 2 minutes to eliminate bacteria. Stage 4. Rinsing clean with pure water and blowing dry with compressed air. After being perfectly clean, eggplants are transferred onto stainless steel cutting tables. Here, a team of skilled workers uses special knives to cut off the eggplant stems. Each stem must be cut exactly 0.5 inches from the top of the fruit to minimize waste, but completely remove the inedible hard part. Average speed 30 fruits per minute per worker. Next is slicing or dicing according to order requirements. Industrial automatic cutting machines with super sharp stainless steel blades cut eggplants into 0.4-inch slices or 1 by 1 inch cubes with high precision. Blades are replaced after every 2 tons of eggplants to ensure sharp cutting edges without crushing the eggplants. Speed 600 pounds of eggplants per hour per machine. Immediately after cutting, eggplants are prone to oxidation and turning an ugly brown color. To prevent this, eggplants are immediately soaked in an antioxidant solution. There are 2 main methods. Method 1, soaking in a 2% saltwater solution for 10 minutes. Method 2, soaking in a 0.1% ascorbic acid vitamin C solution for 5 minutes. Both prevent the polyphenol oxidase enzyme from causing browning. Blanching is the magic step keeping color, and nutrition eggplants, after soaking, are transferred to a steamer or boiling water blancher at a temperature of 190 to 200 degrees Fahrenheit for exactly 3 to 4 minutes. This process deactivates enzymes, reduces microorganisms by 90%, softens eggplant tissue for easy freezing, and, most importantly, retains the beautiful white-purple color even after several months of storage. Right after blanching, eggplants must be cooled extremely fast within 30 seconds to prevent the eggplants from being overcooked. Baskets of hot eggplants are immediately dipped into an ice water tank at 32 to 35 degrees Fahrenheit or run through a cooling tunnel with cold air at -5 degrees Fahrenheit. This thermal shock process immediately stops the cooking process, retaining the best crispness and texture for the eggplants. Eggplants, after cooling, still have a lot of surface water, the enemy of the freezing process. Excess water will form large ice crystals, damaging the eggplant texture. Therefore, eggplants are placed on a mesh conveyor belt with a strong blower fan system blowing across. Draining time 5 to 8 minutes until the surface moisture drops below 5%. This is the most important step, IQF fast freezing. Individual quick freezing. Eggplants are fed into the IQF freezing tunnel with an extremely cold temperature of -35 to -40 degrees Fahrenheit and a high-speed cold air stream of 5,000 cubic feet per minute. Each eggplant piece is frozen individually within 15 to 20 minutes. This super-fast freezing speed creates extremely small ice crystals, microcrystals of only 20 to 50 microns, not destroying the cell structure of the eggplant. Result eggplants after thawing still retain 95% of their original texture and flavor. Frozen eggplants exit the IQF tunnel at a temperature of -20 degrees Fahrenheit. Now a final sorting is needed to remove pieces sticking together or not meeting standards. A vibrating conveyor belt separates each piece individually. An automatic weighing system removes pieces too small under 0.5 ounces or too large over 2 ounces. Only perfect frozen eggplant pieces proceed. Packaging, the step protecting the perfect product. Frozen eggplants are packed into 2-layer PE polyethylene bags, 80 microns thick with absolute moisture resistance. Automatic dosing machines accurately fill 2.2 pounds, 17.6 pounds or 22 pounds per bag with an error of only plus or minus 0.02 pounds. Then the bags are vacuumed, sealed by a heat sealer at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and labeled automatically. Strict quality inspection before leaving the warehouse. Every batch, QC takes random samples checking product core temperature. Must be less than or equal to 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Packaging seal integrity. Water immersion test. Color compared to standard color chart. Microbiology testing EE. Coli, Salmonella, and metals metal detector. Only when passing all 5 criteria is the batch allowed to be packed into carton boxes. Standard eggplant bags are neatly packed into cold-resistant export carton boxes. Each box contains 10 bags, 22 pounds, times 10 equals 220 pounds gross weight. Automatic box stacking robots stack 5 tiers high onto 48 by 40-inch wooden pallets in a stable pattern. Each pallet holds 50 boxes, equals 2,200 pounds, equals 1 metric ton of frozen eggplants. Cold storage, the heart of the entire cold chain. Frozen eggplant pallets are transferred by forklifts into a giant cold warehouse maintained at a precise temperature of negative 0.4 degrees Fahrenheit with 85 to 90% humidity. An automatic refrigeration system with temperature sensors 24/7 ensures the temperature does not fluctuate more than plus or minus 3.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Eggplants can be safely stored up to 24 months without losing quality. Leaving the warehouse preparing for global delivery? When there is an export order, eggplant pallets are taken out of the cold warehouse and immediately transferred into 40-foot refrigerated containers, reefer containers, pre-chilled to negative 0.4 degrees Fahrenheit. Each container holds 22 to 24 pallets, equivalent to 22 to 24 tons of frozen eggplants. GPS systems and temperature sensors are attached to monitor throughout the transportation journey. The journey to global consumers begins. Reefer containers are transported by trucks to Ningbo or Shanghai ports, the two largest ports in China. Here, containers are loaded onto giant container ships, transported to the US, Europe, Japan, the Middle East. The entire journey 15 to 30 days. The temperature is always monitored real time. If the temperature rises above 5 degrees Fahrenheit, the system alerts immediately. Upon arrival, containers are immediately transported to the cold warehouses of distributors or large supermarkets like Walmart, Costco, Whole Foods. Chinese frozen eggplants appear on the cold shelves of millions of stores around the world under many different brands. Consumers just need to grab a bag from the freezer, bring it home, thaw and cook, still retaining 95% of nutrition and flavor like fresh eggplants. And that is the magical journey from eggplant fields in China in 6 hours to a modern factory, through 15 high-tech processing steps with IQF standards, crossing oceans right to your dining table. The Chinese frozen eggplant industry, worth billions of US dollars every year, is a testament to the perfect combination of agriculture and modern technology. Every frozen eggplant bag you buy is not just food, but the result of science, engineering, and the dedication of thousands of people. Did you know that 60% of the world's Ajinomoto MSG originates from cassava roots in Thailand? Every year, this industry is worth more than $3 billion USD, originating from vast fields in northeastern Thailand, such as Nakhon Ratchasima, Chayapum, and Udon Thani. From a simple cassava root through a magical biotechnology process, creating pure MSG crystals in your kitchen. Let's explore this production process with me. The story begins from April to June, the early rainy season in Thailand. Farmers plant cassava stem cuttings 8 to 10 inches long into fertile red soil. They use mechanized planters, placing each cutting 3 feet apart in rows 4 feet apart, creating a density of 3,600 to 4,000 plants per hectare. Each cutting is planted at a 45-degree angle, 4 to 6 inches deep for roots to develop strongly. In the first 30 to 60 days, cassava sprouts and develops into seedlings. From each node on the stem cutting, lush green leaves grow out. This stage needs 600 to 800 millimeters of rainwater. Farmers control weeds with light herbicide or manual weeding. Cassava is a drought-tolerant plant. but the early stage needs stable moisture. After 3 to 4 months, the cassava plant is 3 to 5 feet tall with a dense canopy. This is the stage of starch accumulation in the roots. The hand-shaped cassava leaves with 5 to 7 lobes photosynthesize strongly under the tropical sun. The base of the plant begins to swell. Farmers apply NPK 15-15-15 fertilizer at a rate of 100 to 150 kilograms per hectare to optimize root yield of 20 to 25 tons per hectare. From August to December, 240 to 360 days after planting, cassava roots mature completely. The plant is 6 to 8 feet tall. Leaves begin to turn yellow, a sign the roots already contain a maximum of 25 to 35% starch. Each base yields 3 to 8 roots, each root weighing 2 to 6 pounds, totaling 20 to 25 tons per hectare. Farmers check ripeness by test digging. Roots are firm, brown skin, easily peeling off. Cassava harvesting combines manual labor and machinery. Tractors with cassava harvesters pull up the plants, vibrating the soil so the roots pop out. Workers follow behind to pick the roots, chop off the stems and leaves. Roots are lined up straight in the field. Golden time, harvest within 24 to 48 hours after pulling because cassava roots begin to ferment quickly, reducing starch quality. Fast transportation. 10-wheel trucks carry 10 to 15 tons of fresh cassava roots from the field to the factory. Roots are dumped straight from the truck into a giant receiving pit. Here, a conveyor belt takes the roots through a washing station, 100 psi. High-pressure water nozzles wash away dirt and mud. Clean roots are ready for the processing procedure within 6 to 12 hours after harvest. First step, processing cassava into starch. Clean roots go through a rasper grinder with rotating drums having steel teeth, grinding into a fine mash. Then, dewatering screens separate water and fiber, obtaining starch slurry, starch suspension, 15 to 18% concentration. High-speed centrifuges, 3,000 revolutions per minute, separate pure white starch. Recovery rate reaches 85 to 90%. Hydrolyzing starch into glucose sugar. Starch is dissolved in water, heated to 105 to 110 degrees Celsius. Then alpha amylase enzyme is added. Enzymes break down starch chains into simple sugars in 1 to 2 hours. pH is controlled 5.5 to 6.0. Result, glucose syrup, 30 to 40% concentration raw material for fermentation. Magical biological fermentation. Glucose syrup is pumped into giant fermentation tanks, 500,000 liters, containing Corynebacterium glutamicum bacteria, a special strain producing glutamic acid. Under controlled conditions, temperature 30 to 35 degrees Celsius. pH 7.0. Sufficient oxygen. Bacteria convert glucose into glutamic acid in 40 to 48 hours. Conversion efficiency 50 to 60%. Separating and purifying glutamic acid. The fermented solution goes through filtration to remove bacteria and impurities. Then, ion exchange columns with special resins absorb glutamic acid, eluted with acid or base, to collect pure glutamic acid 95 to 98%. Evaporators concentrate the solution, increasing concentration to 40 to 50%. Neutralizing to create sodium glutamate salt. The glutamic acid solution is mixed with sodium hydroxide, NaOH, in neutralization tanks. The chemical reaction creates monosodium glutamate, MSG, which is MSG. pH is adjusted exactly 7 to 7.2. Temperature controlled 60 to 70 degrees Celsius. The MSG solution is transparent, ready to crystallize. Crystallizing to create MSG crystals. The hot MSG solution is cooled slowly in crystallization tanks with slow stirrers. When the temperature drops to 20 to 30 degrees Celsius, MSG begins to crystallize into sparkling small particles. Crystals are gradually grown in 6 to 12 hours to a size of 0.5 to 1 millimeter. Centrifuge separates crystals from mother liquor. Final drying. Wet MSG crystals go into a fluidized bed dryer. Hot air stream, 80 to 100 degrees Celsius, blowing from the bottom up makes crystals suspend and dry evenly. Moisture content decreases from 15 to 20% down to under 0.5% in 20 to 40 minutes. Then, vibrating screens classify by size, fine, 0.3 to 0.5 millimeters. Standard, 0.5 to 0.8 millimeters. Coarse, 0.8 to 1.2 millimeters. Strict quality inspection. QC lab checks 15 criteria. Purity at least 99%. Moisture at most 0.5%. pH from 6.7 to 7.2. No heavy metals detected. Microbial count within safe limits. Appearance clear and uniform. Crystal size consistent and good flowability. A spectrophotometer is used to analyze the chemical composition. A taste panel test is conducted to confirm the standard umami flavor. Only MSG that meets ISO 9001 and HACCP standards is approved. Blending and conditioning. Standard MSG is put into blending silos to mix batches evenly, ensuring consistent quality. Anti-caking agents, silicon dioxide 0.5 to 1%, are added to prevent clumping. Vibratory feeders distribute MSG evenly to packaging lines. Flow rate 500 to 1,000 kilograms per hour depending on the line. Ready for packaging. High-end automatic packaging. Multi-head weighers with 14 automatic weighing heads combine to achieve exact weight, 100 grams plus or minus 0.5 grams, 250 grams, 500 grams, 1 kilogram depending on packaging. Vertical form-fill seal machines create bags from roll film. Pour MSG, light vacuum, heat seal, print date or batch code in 2 seconds. Speed 80 to 120 bags per minute. Boxing and palletizing. Bags are arranged into carton boxes by cartoning machines, 24 bags per box or 50 bags per box. Case sealers automatically apply tape. Robotic palletizers stack boxes onto standard 40 inches by 48 inches pallets in a stable pattern. Stretch wrappers wrap protective plastic film. Each pallet 800 to 1,000 kilograms of finished product. Final journey to your kitchen. Pallets are moved onto refrigerated container trucks, distributed to Tesco Lotus. Big C, 7-Eleven supermarkets throughout Thailand, and exported to more than 60 countries. Every year, Ajinomoto Thailand produces 500,000 tons of MSG. From northeastern cassava fields to 100 million global families. An amazing biotechnology journey. From cassava roots with 240 to 360 days of growth, through 10 advanced biotechnology stages, fermenting, refining, crystallizing to pure MSG crystals in your hand. 100% natural MSG, increasing umami flavor, reducing 30% salt in cooking, confirmed safe by FDA, WHO. Every crystal is the crystallization of science and sustainable agriculture in Thailand.